Unlimited. This is the Speak Your Mind podcast, hosted by the Queen, Shanice Gatewood Ali, and the God, I Be. Speak Your Mind, an open line podcast delves into the week's current events, trending topics, and the social issues that affect Black people in America. Peace. Brought to you by Iron Phenomenal Unlimited. This is the Speak Your Mind podcast, hosted by the Queen, Shanice Gatewood Ali, and the God, I Be. Speak Your Mind, an open line podcast delves into the week's current events, trending topics, and the social issues that affect Black people in America. Peace. 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 This is the Speak Your Mind podcast with the Allis. We back
Peace.
building. Today is April 4th. 4-4. Today is April 4th. In the Supreme Mathematics, the 4th is culture of freedom. Culture is one's way of life, right? My culture is our God, our self-Lord and Master, meaning that I am the one that is accountable for my ways and actions on a daily basis and the way that I affect the world around me, the people around me, the things that I do are supposed to be conducive to society, to my cipher, to my queen, to my children, to everything in existence. I'm supposed to be conducive. I'm supposed to be doing the right thing. So today on the Culture Day, our way of life should be more focused on forward things for Black culture. But with that, I'll say peace. Peace, Queen. What's the science with you today?
Peace. I am good. Today is 4-4, and we got some information that's coming um, from our mouths to the podcast. And I hope everybody tune in. If you are in the building, please give us a shout out. Also, please subscribe on YouTube. Also, if you want to call in, call in. Give your input. We love to hear from you. Speak Your Mind podcast with the Allis.
So I just seen a post. I just seen a post from Uncle Mark. I just want to share that real quick. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this post from Uncle Mark, he basically says, on this date, April 4th, 1968, the Prince of Peace was murdered. While everyone remembers I Have a Dream and the Mountaintop, it's only in recent years people acknowledge his call for economic power. Some would say Black power. I have chose my words wisely because Facebook shut down my post saluting Q Butter for being unapologetically Black. King mentioned he was afraid he had integrated us into a burning house. Truth is, with all due respect, his popularity was waning. Some of those who supported him in the 63 wanted him quiet in 67 and 68 when he began to speak about the war in Vietnam. Some felt you have to look at civil rights and voting rights bill of 64 and 65. Don't go talking into the white man's war. Martin had uttered the same words his brother Malcolm X said in the Ballad of the Bullet. Martin said, guns are butter. He spoke about American inventions in Vietnam under the guise of bringing democracy when blacks and whites, hold up, I lost my spot. Oh, when blacks and whites could not come together in brotherhood on the streets of America, but sent to fight and die together in a foreign land. Malcolm spoke about the hypocrisy of America speaking on human rights violations in the Eastern Bloc nations when America was guilty of human rights violations of the 22 million Black people here in America. Martin Luther King also met with Malcolm's leader, Elijah Muhammad. The powers that be feared when men like Malcolm and Martin putting their religion aside and working together on behalf of Black people. Wow. That's
Wow. That's pretty much something that we're going to talk about a little later on.
all right. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that tied in. So I seen that post. I definitely wanted to speak about that post. So, Martin Luther King, he went out there during the civil rights struggle and he endured the pain so that certain laws could be passed. But according to this post, they're saying that his popularity was waning towards the end of the 60s because
Mm,
they started to speak about other subjects than civil rights. So what's your thoughts on that though? Just briefly.
Uh, well, we already know, besides Martin Luther King having a dream, he had other issues as we all have right now today. And we are still working through these issues that we are having. So Martin Luther King, they want to shut him down as we're going to speak about freedom of speech. Shut him down at a certain part of his glory years, as they would say, right?
Hmm.
And he was a great leader, and I guess he had to change up his language a little later on because he see that what was coming towards or coming
He was a great leader.
him, you know.
But yeah, you're right. I agree.
So it was really sad that things happened the way it did. But we definitely gonna speak more into that a little later though.
Excellent. So you have any announcements before we go into the current events and stuff we'll be talking about today?
So first off, I want to shout out my sister Venetia Gatewood. Um, she is a black owned business up there in Pennsylvania. She is actually doing great work with the waist beads, and also she have adjustable bracelets, which I am rocking right now. It's beautiful. It's adjustable, and she have motivational words on here. And one is for me is a sister is someone to dream, cry, sing, laugh with. So that's pretty. That's super awesome. And then we got the family tree on there as well. As in a heart, I really really enjoyed my gift last night. We was on StreamYard, and she did an amazing job with her orders. I want to salute to her. Cornisha Gatewood also, she became an author. My other sister, they are twins. My other sister and I, we started our own book, which is I Am Phenomenal, which you see in the background. It
Yes.
is, yeah, it's a journal book. And also is not just a journal where you're able to just write in. It's also words of encouragement. You have poetry, you have quotes, you have um, notes. I am phenomenal. Yes, indeed. You have notes in there as well. It's really, really cute. Is for the ages from 15 and up. We are doing a book signing coming up soon. I just can't wait. Also, this month we're going to do our next StreamYard um, event with the book. So we're going to give away one free book for whoever birthday is in April. We got a game for that. So that's going to be amazing as well.
You know,
Um,
you know what? Being that you said that, I think I'm gonna sponsor a book for somebody.
oh, thank you. See, you see
I'm
that?
gonna sponsor a book for somebody.
Thank you. Yes.
That on
So,
the record, the God I Be is sponsoring an I Am Phenomenal book for the winner of whatever game or whatever y'all have in place. I'm
mhm.
sponsoring a book for a person.
Thank you. See, I just love this man. Thank you so much. Yes, so last night it was amazing. We had fun. We had won a couple of games that she put together. And fortunately, I got some ideas from Dauphine and as well as Varnisha as well to help with my newest event, which is the book. Also, we just got some things going on. I just can't wait. And the weather's getting back, it's a little warm. So let's come together and start doing what we usually do and getting out there in the streets.
Uh oh,
So
we got guess what? Guess what? We gotta do.
oh,
We got
we have
somebody
an
in the audience, Dolphin.
yes,
Oh, Dolphin.
yes.
She
And
said, "I'd like to sponsor a book too."
oh my goodness, thank you.
Hey, that's
Yes.
up.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, this is something that was really dear, and I put in, my husband, no, I came in from work and went straight to the computer to make sure it's done properly for my sister and myself name to get thrown out there. Actually, somebody did purchase a book and they said, I got a problem with the book. And I was like, what? Like, what? And she was like, no, it's too short. And I'm like, well, it's room for part two. And we are working on part two soon. So that was a good review.
They were so enthused. They
It
said,
was
nah,
right.
there has to be some more situation.
Yeah. She was so into it. But like I said, the ages are 15 and up. So we got to make sure our youth get the book as well. And if it's too long, they're going to be like, put it down. But at least this book, you're able to put down, pick back up, put down, put back up. And the reason for that is because certain things that's in there, because I am a life coach as well, some of my questions are life coach questions. So you're going to be able to pick it back up and say, I remember in the book it says, and it helps you the tools. They give you the tools for certain things.
It's because you brought that up. I just got a question for you.
Yes.
What is a life coach?
Ooh, a life coach is someone who definitely listens to the issues and help guide you. We're not the saviors. We help guide you. We give you the proper tools. We give you those questions, MI questions that throw it back at you, so that way you can sit back and you can think. We don't sugarcoat.
Am I?
Motivational interview.
Oh,
Interviewing.
I know a little something.
I know you know. Please, you do it on me.
Nah, I don't.
So with that, we give you back, those questions that you have concern about whatever issues you might have. Also, we don't sugarcoat it. So I am one that don't sugarcoat. I don't want nobody sugarcoating certain things to me. I won't sugarcoat things to them. So with that, I definitely love being a life coach. So yeah, inside the book, it has beautiful Black pictures. Please believe me, beautiful, beautiful. Something to have you reflect. It's more of a reflection, some of those pictures, to make you just think about who you are as a as a person. I'm gonna say person because remind you, you might have some boys that might like the book. Who knows? I don't know. The book is for anybody. But my main goal was set for 15 and up, our young ladies, to help them think about certain things a little differently about themselves.
Well, we need like a 30-second to 1 minute commercial on this book so we can play this on the podcast. We got
Okay.
the WAPW commercial. We need the book commercial. So
Okay.
this thing out there and put that on our social media feeds because we need to push this thing out. Because we can't gather around like we want to gather around. Usually we do a book signing.
Yes.
Different places have people come out, sip on some wine, talk about the book, read passages.
Definitely.
But right now we can just do whatever we can.
Right.
So I wanted to speak about real quick. Yesterday, I was invited to come to the National Action Network because my brother, Prince Shakur, he was actually honored for being a social worker yesterday. And, he hit me up. He said he was hit up last minute. So he hit me up last minute like, yo, listen, come and support your boy. I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure. Where you work at? He said National Action Network. I said, oh, wow, I'm right. I'm not too far from there. So, I walked down there and we went in and, he gave his spill. But I got a couple things that I like about the situation. There are a couple things I did not like about the situation. All right. Let me speak about this real quick. First of all, when I came up in the spot, my brother was on the stage and they said they was about to announce who was going to get the awards for, who was being recognized as social workers. And I wanted to go live. So I went live and, I'm standing to the side. I'm all the way by the wall. So I'm standing to the side. I had to stand up because I was in the back. I was like towards the back, middle to the back. So anyway, it was mad far away. So I had to close up with the phone and all of that. But a person came up to me and was like came in front of the camera and said, no, you can't film me. I mean, she didn't say you can't film me here. She said you can't stand up in front of the camera. I said, well, thank you for saying that on the live. She said, what? I said, Thank you for saying that on the live. And she said, and just walked away. So anyway, so my boy gets called up. He goes up there. They asked him certain questions that they wanted him to answer. So he's going through the questions. And just before he got to the part about, mentors against drugs and guns through experience and all of that, they told him that his time was up and
Wow.
hurried him up off the stage. And these are the questions that you asked him to answer. So I'm like, wow, man. So I'm like, wow. So he's kind of upset about that. So anyway, he comes off the stage, and I'm going. So we get ready to go to the door. I'm putting my coat on, and they was like, oh, you got to go outside. I'm like, yo, hold on. What's going on here? I'm trying to put my coat on. These people is rushing us outside. The lady's like, oh, well, we gonna hold the door open for you. I'm like, yo, these people was some rude people at this event. I don't know if
Wow.
it to be. I'm gonna say with disclaimer. I'm not saying that this is everybody that's involved with the organization, but these people that day they was very rude. And
Wow.
I was like, wow, that really just that turned my it made me feel some sort of way about going up in there again.
Well, I do want to say I was able to be a part of two events there. And the first event was 8 something in the morning. And I spoke on domestic violence because I'm also an advocate. For those who do not know me, I am an advocate for domestic violence. So I spoke on DV and it was pretty good. The second time I was there, I was on a panel with some of the big top people, which is beautiful and made me feel good. Um, so I never really had a bad experience with Nan. Um, so I'm kind of shocked that that is one of the things that happened. And I'm going to say on the behalf of people in our community, sometimes they get, you know, and it's sad, but maybe, we should go back and just tell them how you feel. I am a firm believer of that. No one cannot know how you feel until you express it. And whoever that person was, maybe you need to let her know the way she was that particular day, and it wasn't cool. So that way, when she get brought up to open her eyes up to see what happened, what she did wrong, is either one or two things was going to happen. She's going to apologize, or she won't do it again to anybody else.
Right. So another thing that I didn't like, well, I don't want to say everything that I didn't like, because they do work. They do
Right.
work. They've been doing work out here way longer than I've been doing work out here. But what I want to say is they honored them, but it was like kind of ad hoc because they didn't even give them a certificate or any type of plaque or anything like that to say, okay, this person was honored on this day for the work that they do. So, that made my mind think, and I'm talking to the right person right now. I'm thinking that we might should do some type of recognition ceremony for people that are doing great work.
I'm only smiling because I have 100 and some uh, awards in this house, because that was something that I wanted to put together for our pre-Valentine's Day event that I usually, throw every year for We Are Phenomenal Woman. However, because of the pandemic, I wasn't really into it like I usually would like to be. And I felt like at the time of community violence, domestic violence, as well as a pandemic, people dying, I wasn't really into that. I'm so happy that the people that we are still connected with them, no one, left
And I just
us, had to change up his.
Go ahead.
So I'm grateful for that. So that way we will be able to put that recognition together for our people, because who is going to say thank you more than us?
Right. Right. We got
You
to
know.
we got to salute to the people. We got to salute to the people because there's a lot of people out here that's doing great work. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should be recognized. I really think that they should be recognized. So I think that, that would be something that'd be great, especially
Hmm.
during the pandemic, people that continue to put in the effort. Um,
Okay,
so yeah, I think that's something that we might should do. So without further ado, I think we should get into our current events.
absolutely.
Now, current events is something that I remember from school. I remember out in the school I went to, we used to have to come to school with current events. Like we had to go to the newspaper and
Hmm.
get a specific current event and bring it in and talk about it. So
Right.
that's something from my past that I definitely want to instill into this podcast because we have been speaking about current events and I want to continue to do that. So today I got a couple of things that I want to speak about and we could get some reactions from the audience. Okay, so let's start with this one. This one right here is major. Okay, why is this not working? Okay, let's go to that. Boom. All right. So we share it. You gotta talk. You gotta talk. You can't be quiet while it.
I know. I was just thinking about
We can't have no
that.
dead time. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So a
Oh,
lot of people heard about this.
yeah.
DMX reportedly hospitalized after drug overdose. This is the update. This is from Complex Magazine. There go our brother DMX. It says DMX was hospitalized Friday night after suffering a heart attack that was triggered by an apparent drug overdose. After overdosing at his home around 11 p.m., DMX was rushed to the hospital in White Plains, New York. He is currently in the critical care unit. A source close to the family tells TMZ that the 50-year-old rapper has some brain activity. Another source says that he's in a vegetative state and doctors have cautioned he
Yeah.
may not make it. DMX has battled with substance abuse for years, last checking into a rehab facility in 2019, less than 9 months after he was released from prison on tax evasion charges. Several of X's peers in the hip hop community took to social media to share their support, including Rick Ross, T.I., Missy Elliott, and Ja Rule. Wow, man.
So DMX real name is Earl Simmons.
Yes, that's his name.
So yes, and he is from up in what is it?
Young.
Yonkers. I was about to say Mount Vernon. So he is a resident, or was, or still is a resident of Yonkers, and I feel like sometimes going to especially these people that's kind of close with him, I believe they need to go to him, go to him. Of course, you put it on Facebook just to show everybody that this is what you wrote. But if you're able to go to him, I suggest that people should call out to the family. If they haven't, do that. Show the support that way. We was just watching him on Versus,
Right. Snoop.
and right, and it was like, his songs had you like back
Right.
back to that again. So I just hope he pulled through.
I
you
just
know
DMX too, like on the same block.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he was at the store. I mean, the
The
restaurant on the
restaurant.
corner or whatever. I
Hmm.
seen him, took a picture with him and all that. I told him,
Hmm.
I'm like, yo, listen, man, we need you back. We need you back in this game. When I was coming up, I told him, I was like, when I was coming up, you was like a black superhero or something like that, man. We need you back in this game, like for real, like. And he was like, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And you know, as a substance use counselor, though, I look at it like this. Although we all are trying to encourage our loved ones to stop using certain
Yeah.
substances, until they make the decision themselves,
So yeah.
want to come out of that substance, whatever that substance may be, then our words are kind of futile. I mean, they're encouraging, they may be in the back of the mind, but ultimately it comes to the person that they have to make that decision that they want to change their life. And hopefully this hopefully, if X make it out of this situation, he will be able to say that this is my lowest moment and I'm ready to change my life.
I
I
hope so.
still hope so.
I really do. I don't know what he had in place for his lowest, darkest moments. You know, if he had a mentor, you know, if he had any tools, but I just hope he you know, it hurt my heart. I don't know him physically, but the cry outs that we have heard through his music, you know, he's a great artist, you know, and he's on, and he was in movies, you know, so he played. Listen, would you have known that this person have came up in the lowest part of the? I think he lived in the projects. I
That's
don't.
pretty.
I,
I'm not sure. Well, according to the story that I was reading, he came up kind of by himself, so he was like in and out of different places
right, that's
coming
right.
up. Then he went to homes.
Holmes, right, right,
So he had a very interesting upbringing, and
right. I
he
think
was
we
pretty rough.
watched his bio.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm getting I got a message from Grizzly 456. He said, from what I hear, he is off respirator and breathing on his own. Heard last night. Not sure how true it is. Prayers are going up.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
So hopefully the brother, the big bro, come out of this situation. A lot of people are rooting for him all over the world, but he has to root for himself more than
That's
we're
true.
rooting for him, man. I mean, we could tell him all we want, but come on, X, man. The prayers that you're saying shows that you have some insight into the issues that you're going through on a daily basis. So you got to utilize that insight to help yourself come out of that situation.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So next
Rough
up,
Rider.
next up, yeah, man, that's a
Wow.
very unfortunate situation.
Yeah, if anybody watched his bio, you would definitely understand why I'm really passionate about this about him because it would make you cry. That bio had me in tears, like, oh my gosh. Never knew that this man who somebody we look up to, that we enjoy his music, had shared so much hurt and pain coming up from being a little boy all the way up to where he at now.
Also, I want to say that being that they saying that he overdosed, also that they're saying that there's a drug called fentanyl that a lot of dealers have been putting in various substances, right? Fentanyl is an opioid that they usually cut heroin with,
Mm,
right? And it is so many times more powerful than heroin
yeah.
that if you use heroin, the same amount of fentanyl that you use with heroin that you would use if you use the same amount of fentanyl as you would normally use heroin, you will have an overdose immediately.
Wow.
That's how powerful fentanyl is. But they've been saying that they've been using fentanyl also to cut other drugs with the fentanyl,
Mm,
right? So they may have been cutting cocaine with the fentanyl, putting it
right.
in weed. We don't know how many different drugs they've been putting it on because normally you don't hear of anybody overdosing on, they said that he was using crack cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
So normally you don't hear about people overdosing on crack cocaine. So was his stuff laced with fentanyl or whatever it was? I did a whole project on that, and there's an antagonist which is called naloxone, which you can
Mm-hmm.
spray up in a person's nose if they're going through an opioid overdose. And reach out to your local providers and find out how you could get and carry naloxone because a lot of our loved ones have been overdosing over these opioids over the years, and we have not known exactly how we could remedy them and bring them back. And this naloxone is a lifesaver.
Right. You know, it's funny. That's why we're on the same page. You know, I was going to bring that up. Maybe we should do a workshop on live StreamYard and have somebody to actually do that. I do know you have your card and I have my card. We have the medication as well. But also he did have a heart attack in the midst of him overdosing. So
Oh wow.
that's a
Yeah.
part of that as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, he had put on some weight as well. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next article we're going to talk about. This seemed kind of crazy going to this after that, but
Um,
so for all my 420 people out here, Governor Andrew Cuomo signs bill to legalize recreational marijuana in New York. This is on
mhm.
March 30th. The key points. Governor Andrew Cuomo on Wednesday morning signed a bill passed by the legislature the night before to legalize recreational marijuana in New York State. That makes New York the 15th state, along with the District of Columbia, that have legalized the drug for recreational use. Legalization of the plant is effective immediately. You hear that? Effective immediately. But legal recreational sales are not expected to begin for 1 to 2 years. So there goes the conundrum right there, right? Because if the plant is legalized effective immediately, and the only way to get the drug right now, well, the plant right now is illegal
Mm.
unless you have a medical marijuana license.
Double talking, huh?
Right. So this is kind of double talk. So it's effective immediately. You can have and smoke marijuana.
Right, but you can't get the plant.
Right. You can't go buy it from, the person who's selling it illegally. And, recreational sales are not expected for another 2 years.
Oh,
So it says Governor Cuomo on Wednesday morning signed legislation passed by the state lawmakers the night before to legalize recreational marijuana in New York State. The state Senate voted Tuesday evening 40 to 23 to pass the legislation. Later that night, the state assembly voted 100 to 49 in favor of the bill. You know what's crazy about this is that they was able to pass this bill. They was able to pass this bill, but still we can't have any. We haven't seen anything with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act or any of that. They could pass this, but they can't pass that. But I think we got a caller.
Please leave your message for 3.
All right, I'm gonna have to call him back. But anyway, so there's certain criteria to this bill that I don't think are spoken about in this article. So I'm gonna read these off. I was given these by my brother Prince. So this is the finest message to the police department he was able to obtain. If y'all can see that.
Mm-hmm. I have mine on my end too.
All right, let me see something here. Somebody, who is this? Yeah, so there's certain things that people don't know when it comes to this. All right, so right here, this message right here is a message to the police department. It says, effective today, March 31st, 2021, the New York State Legislature has overhauled the laws concerning the possession, sale, and use of marijuana. The new laws will create sweeping changes to the department's enforcement of marijuana offenses. The key changes are possession of 3 ounces or less of marijuana in a public. Oh, hold on. We got the caller. Caller.
Peace. How you doing, bro?
State your name. Where you calling from, caller?
This Robert Jackson pulling live from Harlem.
Peace, King.
Peace.
Doing good, man.
I'm over here with DJ Rashid right now.
Oh, DJ
cool.
Rashid. Peace, DJ Rashid. Smash it and trash it, right?
Yeah.
Word.
Smash it and trash it, right?
Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
He's in Harlem.
Yeah, we missed you this week, man. We was trying to catch up with that. So what's good, fellas?
Yeah. The bar. Yeah, in Harlem we're right now on the block.
Okay.
That's what's up. So what's on your mind, Rob? Robert Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what's on your mind, bro?
You live right now.
I'm calling to give a shout out. Let people know the June 22nd to go out there and vote.
Oh yeah, for sure. Who's running? Who's going to be on the ballot?
Well, for city council, I'm backing on Mayor Pierre Gooden, but you got Bill Perkins still on the ballot. Pierre Gooden, William Allen, Billy Council, Cordell Clear.
Oh, Cordell Clear. Yeah, that's our people right there.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So definitely, yeah, go out there and vote. What's the date of the vote?
For the go out there and vote June 22nd, the Democratic primaries. Early
Okay.
voting
Okay.
starts June 18th, for those who don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
early
you.
voting is June 18th and June 22nd is the Democratic primaries for city council. Get out there and get
Yeah, city
involved.
council, yeah.
Yeah, get out
Mm-hmm.
there and
Get
get
involved,
involved.
yeah.
Make sure you make your voice heard. Make sure you make your voice, your vote count.
Yeah.
That's right.
All
We
right.
control,
Thank you.
local elections.
All right, my brother. We speak to you soon.
All right, peace and love, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
All
Well,
right. So
okay.
city council elections, make sure you get out there and vote. Okay, so as I was saying,
And that's
with
only in Harlem, people.
with this police message right here, it says possession of up to 5 pounds of marijuana is allowed in the residence. Possession of 3 pounds or less of marijuana is allowed in a public place. You can possess higher amounts of marijuana if prescribed by a doctor. You can give lawful amounts of marijuana to other people who are 21 or over, so long as no compensation is exchanged. You see how they put that word together right there? Basically say you could give somebody some weed, but you
But you
can't
can't get no
charge.
money from it. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Well, I'm not even gonna say that because they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you promoting some illegal joint." But I know how other people used to do the situation. But I'm not gonna speak about that. So anyway, they
No,
said,
you missed the part.
"Okay, what I miss?"
Smoke marijuana almost.
Okay. So you can smoke marijuana almost anywhere that cigarette smoking is allowed, including on sidewalks, on front stoops, and other public places. As a result, smoking marijuana in any of these locations is not a basis for any approach, stop, summons, arrest, or search. Let me repeat that. As a result, smoking marijuana in any of these locations is not a basis for an approach, stop, summons, arrest, or search. So
And
basically,
that's only for anyone that's 21 and older.
yeah. So anyone 21 and older, you can smoke weed in any place where smoking is allowed, right? But you cannot smoke it in places where smoking is not allowed. And the smell of marijuana, seeing you with a blunt or marijuana joint or anything pertaining to marijuana is not probable cause for the police to run up on you, to check your pockets or any of that. So that has changed now.
However,
However, individuals who are 21 or older may not give marijuana to anyone under 21, endangering the welfare of a minor for persons 16 or under, and persons of any age may not drive under the influence of marijuana, according to the vehicle and traffic law, smoke marijuana while driving, sell marijuana for compensation, smoke marijuana where cigarette smoking is prohibited, such as bars, restaurants, child care centers within 100 feet of a school entrance, places of employment, or indoor areas, or smoke marijuana in NYC parks where no smoking signs are posted in the transit system. So right there, that's a mouthful right there. So basically, you are allowed to smoke marijuana where it is permitted to smoke cigarettes. Anywhere that it's not permitted to smoke cigarettes, you cannot smoke marijuana.
and this is really important to discuss because a lot of people, as I shared this with someone, the first thing they said was, I know they passed the law. No, read the other guidelines, read the other parts, because a lot of our youth, they will fight the police. They will fight the police because they feel like, oh, but the bill was passed. But there's guidelines. There is informative action if you are selling or if you are smoking in NYC parks. So with that being said, you have to be careful in what you do. There's a policy for everything. Just because you heard pass does not mean there are restrictions underneath the guidelines. So pay attention to that. If anyone would love to have a copy to pass around or give to anyone else, or to just text someone else like I have done. I had gave it to someone. I told them text your friends so that way y'all would not be fighting the police if you do something that's not right and they see it. So
So they said that we got a couple people in the chat. Grizzly 456 and the guard Nalo. He said that you're allowed to grow at least 6 plants in your home. Now, I think there's the difference between New York and New Jersey is I think you're not allowed to grow in New Jersey. You can only get the weed from a dispensary, but in New York, you're allowed to actually grow the weed. So that's right over the bridge. So you got to make sure you know these different laws in whatever place you're at, because you can go right over the bridge. Like myself, when I'm going upstate New York, we go through New Jersey. So you might be thinking you doing the laws of New York and then pass through New Jersey and get bagged, and they be like, nah, not under Jersey's laws,
right?
So you got to make sure you know these laws and make sure you safe use. I think the weed of today is some totally different weed. That thing's strong today. They said that the weed from like the 90s and the early 80s, this weed right here is like 5 to 25 times more powerful.
I'm telling you,
that weed that was in that yellow envelope and them chocolate bags that we were smoking and that sets and all of that stuff we were smoking earlier in them years. But this weed right here, that loud and that
purple something and
all of that different.
Right?
Listen, I'll take a couple toes, but I ain't gonna do too much of that. I'm
moving on to the next thing.
Mine starts going crazy, you know what I'm like. So anyway, moving on to the next topic. Okay, so this next one is a very important law that was passed, and I think this is very beneficial to my people that are formerly incarcerated or currently incarcerated. I wish they could get our podcast behind the wall. Okay, so this right here says that solitary confinement, New York bans prison isolation over 15 days. And this is from BBC News. It says New York has adopted a law banning more than 15 days in solitary confinement and is set to become one of the first U.S. states to fall in line with the UN's Mandela rules, which define extended solitary as torture. Imagine if you had to spend years alone in a tiny cell within earshot of others screaming in mental anguish. That is what solitary confinement is like in many U.S. detention facilities that don't limit the use of isolation. Candy Haley, a mother too, has lived through this. She was sent to Rikers Jail in New York in 2012, accused of attempted murder. The charge was later dropped. I walked right into hell, said Miss Haley. The cell was like an elevator you are stuck in for 24 hours. And Rikers said she was accused by guards of minor infractions of the jail rules and ended up being kept in an isolation cell for 3 years. Miss Haley, whose wrists are deeply scarred, became suicidal. All you're thinking about is trying to kill yourself. I swallowed pills. I cut my arms. The numbers in solitary in America, estimated at over 60,000 before the pandemic, have exploded due to COVID, as many prisons have confined inmates to their cells. Solitary confinement, or segregation as it is officially known, was designed to separate the most dangerous prisoners from others and keep vulnerable prisoners safe on a temporary basis. But in America, solitary is used more widely, not just for COVID quarantine. Inmates have committed minor violations, many of whom are mentally ill, are often also put in isolation cells, sometimes at length. So thankfully, to halt solitary confinement, Johnny Perez and all of the brothers out there that's been fighting about this topic, they finally have stopped solitary confinement for over 15 days in New York State. Now, I have been in solitary confinement, right? And I'll tell you, right, I had 365 days of solitary confinement in the county jail. And then upstate, I probably did about 90 days in the box, or a couple different box, you know, little bit here, a little bit there. But anyway, long story short, being in the box, it's like, you know, it's just like you were just stuck in a place where you can't do anything but be in your head.
Mm.
You're getting fed under a door, right? You're not having any human contact with other people besides other people that may be locked in just like you. And, we screaming back and forth from cell to cell. Some people is gate banging basically meaning that you on the door screaming back and forth, or some people be talking about different things. They be talking about gang stuff. They be doing all kind of stuff in the box, but it will get to your mental. It will get to your mental. I remember a point in the box where, I have a broken nose. And I'm just looking at myself in the mirror in the box, and I'm like, damn, can I fix my nose in here? I think it just your mind just starts to play tricks on you in there after a while. And like some people do all of these years in the box, and then they come home straight from the box without having any social integration. You know what type of how that plays on your psyche?
Mm.
How can you have years and years in a box with no human interaction and then just be released into society where you got to go on a train?
Right. And the train is horrible.
Yeah, so they basically saying, according to the Mandela rule, the isolation has been deemed torture, because human are social animals. Right? Not only do we have to speak to other people, we need to see other people, react to other people, touch other people, or it starts to play games on our mental.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about what it would be like to be in the box? I could show you. You know what you could do? You could go. Right now, if you go in the bathroom and we cut all the lights off and close the door, that's like being in the box, because basically a cell is no bigger than the bathroom. And you got your toilet in there, you got your sink in there, and your bed. And you just in there. And that's just like, for you to have to be in a situation like that for years on end, man, there's no way in the world that will not affect you. So I think we lost our co-host, but I'm gonna keep it going. So let me read a little bit more of this article until she returns. So it says solitary confinement was condemned as a dangerous practice in the 1890s in the U.S., was reintroduced on a large scale after a murder of 2 prison officers by inmates in Marion, Illinois in 1983 with the advent of supermax prisons. And with the introduction of secure housing units, basically the SHU, and the units where prisoners were segregated. Solitary confinement is utilized for tens of thousands of people for years at a time, says Homer Venters, former of chief medical officer at the New York City prison jail system. This is in spite of strong medical evidence that solitary confinement can cause severe psychological distress. So they know the effects of this box on people's mind, they psyche, and so forth and so on. Yet they just been utilizing this torture because it's the easiest method to just lock somebody in and keep them away from other people in the general population of the prison. So not only are you in prison, but you're in jail in prison. So you locked in. And I know it's probably hard for a lot of people that may be listening to conceive of something like this, but this is something that is major. This is a major law that's been passed.
Call from KB. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
So we got a caller. Peace, caller. State your name and where you calling from.
Peace to the God. This is Knowledge Born.
Peace.
I'm living in P-Lawn by way of Brownsville.
My brother, Knowledge Born. What's the science, God?
Peace. Hey, yo, I just want to comment on the fact, man, that I'm liking what you're doing, putting everybody on point of what's going on, like local dudes that people may not be aware of, and just slip over their head because a lot of people running, ripping, and doing certain things. But at the same time, a lot of people is on these phones and YouTube and all that, and that's a new avenue for you to get the message across. And I definitely appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate the information you're giving out there to the people.
Thanks, King. We do what we can when we can. We got to make sure that we spreading the message. And the law is seen and heard everywhere. So why won't we be on social media, in the streets, in the schools, everywhere? We have to spread messages. So that's why we basically came up with this podcast. And I thank you for recognizing what we're trying to achieve.
Ain't no trying, we doing it.
You definitely doing it. You definitely doing it, brother. You and the earth, man. Y'all definitely on the ball, man. Y'all always been active, man, and trying to like make people aware of what's going on in the society, man. Because we need that on the grassroots level. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no bougie type people like like I was listening to one time. You got a lot of people that's taking up how like big words and all that type stuff and taking up all this stuff and not giving people what it is like on plain language.
Right.
In plain language, which is good.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yo,
I gotta get up with you though, man. Go ahead.
I wanted to add, like, I don't know, like I wanted to speak on. You think is it possible I got enough time to speak on like remember I told you I was gonna speep about the parking tickets and stuff like that people be getting?
Well,
people may not be aware.
I mean, I don't want to go into the whole thing right now, but just give them a little dose so we can have you come on and speak about the whole thing. But just give them a little dose of what you're talking about.
All right. I have received numerous parking tickets, right? And there's a law, like a lot of time, especially with people that have out-of-state plates, a lot of times they don't have their registration. They don't put the registration on the ticket. And a lot of out-of-state people that have out-of-state plates, the registration expiration is on the license plate. And a lot of times these officers, when they writing these tickets, do not put the registration expiration date on the ticket. As a result of that, in vehicle and traffic law 238, you could beat the ticket on the strength of that because they're supposed to put everything, even the make of the car. The registration is the most very important part of the expiration of getting a ticket. If they don't have that, don't have the information in there, you can beat your ticket. Your ticket is automatically dismissed. No questions asked. All you got to do is tell that to the judge, and your ticket will be automatically dismissed. I've known that. I have beat like 5 tickets like that because I have out-of-state plates, and my expiration for my registration is on my license plate. And these bozos, if I can use that word, these bozos don't do they, do fast and all that. Don't put the registration date on the tickets. And so I like people that get tickets, read these tickets, go through everything, every little thing on there, and see if they messed up. Because a lot of times they give you these tickets $50, $100, and $90 and all that, and you can beat some of these tickets. A lot of us just don't go and challenge these tickets. So I like on point of that.
That's excellent.
And,
excellent advice.
All that, especially if you got out-of-state plates.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
We
need that.
Yeah, we need that. And we want you to come on so you can actually show exactly what you're talking about. So basically what I'm getting out of what you said is if they wrote you a ticket and the registration number is not on the ticket, then the ticket has to be dismissed.
No, the registration expiration date. They have a spot on the ticket that says the expiration date or the registration. Out-of-state plates, a lot of out-of-state plates, especially Florida and South Carolina, have the registration on a license plate. But they don't put it on the ticket. They don't put the expiration date on the actual ticket. They have to put that there. Section Vehicle and Traffic Law 2, Section 238 breaks all that down. That must be on. There's certain thing that must, ain't no getting around, ain't no may or it can. It must be done, which is a key word when you're dealing with law. Must, may, and these are words that you got to understand when you read in law. Yeah. Certain things that it can do, certain things are within the discretion. But must is something that's mandatory that they have to do. If they don't put the expiration date on your ticket, on a lot of other stuff I can get into, but we're not going to get into it right now.
All right.
And then you automatically get your ticket dismissed. $100 tickets, $115 tickets, and $60 tickets, and all this type of stuff that they're getting us to pay for. They're not taking care of these streets like the way you're doing, but that's another story.
Okay.
Because I'll be getting them tickets. I got tickets a couple times, especially in the Bronx. One day I was going to outreach somebody in the Bronx or whatever, and I ain't even gonna lie. I jumped out the car, ran in the building, slipped the letter under the door, came right back outside, and the lady wrote me a ticket. I was so tight. I ain't gonna hold you. I cursed the lady out. The people on the block cursed the lady out. I was like, oh man, I'm wilding right now.
Did she put it on your car when it was already on your car, or was she writing it?
Huh? No, she actually was writing it when I was coming out.
He said, did she put it on the car?
Listen to me. It's another law. If you pull off, if you drive off while she writing the ticket, the ticket is now legal because they can't mail it to you. The law said that they must put it on your car. I got cases where the person pulled off on his car and they mailed it to his house, and that became illegal because the standard is they must put it on your car. They cannot mail it to you. They cannot do none of that. They have to put it on your car. If you would have just pulled off, peacefully just pulled off, and you've been good. But these are stuff that we don't understand because a lot of times we see law enforcement, we just stay there, don't know our laws, don't know our rules, things that we allowed to do.
Wow.
So these other things with vehicle and traffic law that you can do and get around these exorbitant tickets, unnecessary tickets that these ticket happy people that quick to put on our cars and stuff like that. So
yes, we definitely need you to come back on.
Yeah, we need you to come on and lay all of this stuff down, man. Put together a PowerPoint or something, or you just come in and just show just straight on the and you can do it right from your phone, or if you got a laptop or anything like that, we can do it, and we're gonna speak about it. We'll speak about it.
We need to educate our people. This is why Speak Your Mind podcast with the Allis is so important, because we're bringing certain news, like for example, the marijuana piece. Like I said, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's been passed. Now I can do whatever I want to do. I could drive. I could do this. I could do that because the laws has been passed. And as well as the God I Be said, once you go over to New Jersey, their laws might be different. So we have to stay in tune. And then the language, we got to know the language as well. So we definitely want to bring you back on.
Very important part.
All right, my bro. So look,
because I think a while ago you gave a class when we was on our little situation, that you gave them a class on understanding these language, these legal terms that they have. I think it was you or either Prince.
Actual fact.
Gave up like understanding the language, like the etymology of these legal terminology that they have, and understanding the essence of these words, and this is how they create these laws. So understanding the language, like the Earth said, is very important that you know, so you can be on point and not let these people trick us up.
That's right.
The trickery.
That's right. Knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the first step. So you already know we got to do the knowledge to all these terms, break them down so we can know that we right and exact when we moving about.
Right. Absolutely.
So peace, God. I'm going to speak to you in a minute. We about to get to the next topic.
All right, God, man. Y'all be safe, man. Peace.
Yo,
no doubt.
Thanks for calling in. Peace, King.
Peace.
You already. Peace.
Peace. So I got the next topic. The next topic we're going to be talking about is okay. So this right here, I'm kind of, I ain't gonna front. I'm scared.
Why are you scared?
I'm scared. This thing right here, this is what they was talking about back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So look, New York, where we at? New York launches nation's first vaccine passport. Others are working on similar ideas, but many details must be worked out. Oh my goodness. So starting Friday, New Yorkers will be able to pull up a code on their cell phone or printout to prove that they've been vaccinated against COVID-19 or recently tested negative from the virus that causes it. The first in the nation certification, called the Excelsior Pass. The Excelsior Pass will be useful first at large-scale venues like Madison Square Garden. But next week, the pass will be accepted at dozens of event, arts, and entertainment venues statewide. It already lets people increase the size of a wedding party or other catered event. The app, championed by Governor Andrew Cuomo to support the recovery of industries most affected by the pandemic, is funded by the state and available free to businesses and anyone with vaccination records or test results in New York. As they would with an airline boarding pass, people will be able to prove their health status with a digital QR code.
Wow.
Response machine readable label. They'll need to download the Excelsior Pass app, enter their name, date of birth, and zip code, and answer a series of personal questions to confirm their identity. The data will come from the state's vaccine registry and will be linked to testing data from a number of pre-approved testing companies.
Oh my goodness.
Wait.
So I guess I'm traveling local.
Yo, you think if I play this? Let me see. something.
No.
Look,
We already see it. Yeah.
you see this thing?
Now remind you, they said it's not mandatory, but they making it to the point that you're basically in the box. In other words, in the box.
Right.
So if at the end of the day, this is not fair to those. Remind you, we're not anti-vaccine. For those who got it, that's great. But now it's to the point that those who didn't get vaccine, you're being very limited to where to go and what places to visit, and is that legal? Right. That's the thing.
See, that's what she just said. That's the gray area. They're
right.
mandating the vaccine. What they're doing is they're backdoor mandating it by saying if you don't have it, you can't come in certain places without proof that you have it.
Right.
So that right there, it basically is it's keeping people that can't get to the vaccine, number one, right? Who has been adversely affected by this vaccine so far, right? It's been people of color, right? That we haven't had access to the vaccine in the same level as people from other groups, such as white people and so forth and so on, right? And then it's also according to economic status, because people who have more economic who have more money, basically, they are the ones who have had more access to the vaccine.
Right.
Also, this disparity has proven with the testing. Those who had access to testing, they were more like just for instance, Governor Cuomo, they said that he was giving his family more access to testing than the rest of the people that was in New York State. Right? Allegedly. So this is what they're saying. So now if we got all of these people that have more rights to the vaccine, more rights to testing, then they are the ones who are going to be able to get the pass. And those who do have less rights, they're going to be ostracized, and it's going to be, us and them.
Right. However, let's say this. I bet you, however, everything changes when certain class of people take it to the higher up. Let's see. I'm gonna get off this topic, but it's gonna go back to what I'm saying. For example, years ago when a woman has been molested or raped or anything like that, they said within the 10 years you can't come and report it. I forgot the name of it, what they called it. Statute of limitation, right. So now there was a Chinese lady that got on and fought that. Now all of a sudden it can be someone can say, listen, this happened to me, this person did it, and now we're going to court, and now the person is going to jail, right?
That's right.
So here we go. Like I said, when a certain class of people go in and fight the hardest for what they believe in, things changes, right? So if we didn't get vaccine, or whoever that didn't get vaccine, whoever, and we just take it in and say, oh, well, I can't travel, I can't do this because this is what they said, this is the guidelines. But if we take it to a higher level and say, listen, I'm going to sue because you're saying it's not mandated, but then you giving all these other, I can't go to the concert, I can't go into certain clothing stores, or whatever the case might be. Who knows? They might go that route too. So now you're really in a box.
Right. And then when they tell you, your job tells you, listen, you can't come to work
that's going to happen
without this pass or whatever this thing is. It's the same thing as back in the days when we was coming out of slavery during the Reconstruction era, when they had the pass that you had to have, or even during slave times when you had to have a pass that you was a free Negro,
right?
Right? And if you didn't have that pass or they ripped up your pass, then they could snatch you up.
Right.
So giving them another reason why they could ostracize and basically disrespect and apprehend people that have not been vaccinated or had a positive test. So this is crazy right here. So what did he say? He says they will be taking away free choice. That's basically taking away.
That's what it is. Control. Once again.
And this is emergency use authorization. We got a caller.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Peace, caller. State your name and where you calling from.
Peace. This is Tori from upstate. We went to school together, bro. So peace, peace, kid.
Peace, Tori. What's good with you, man?
Nothing much, man. Trying to, get right, doing my health, and just feeding the brain, man, and just going on watching this movie, what's going on here in the world, man.
Right. So what's on your mind today?
Like, just with what you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, what's on your mind today? You got to cut the background. You got to cut the You can't listen to it from the Facebook. You got to listen to it from.
No, it's just how, like we said, we're speaking on the topic of the vaccinations and everything. It's like all these things have played out in all the movies we watched since kids.
Mm-hmm.
All they going back to Escape from New York. Just two different movies, like as we learned, like with the vaccination, it's almost like a catch and release they want us to do, and use us as experiments of these things, and it's they know everything is controlled through fear.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
When how you say what's the guy named Marxism, whatever he said, the only way to break down the mind state of American people is to
instill fear.
Give them fear.
Right. That's Marx. Yeah, that's Marx. Definitely.
Did you watch I Am Legend?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I Am Legend. That's all these things. But that's why I said, look at what was Will Smith?
He was a scientist.
What was Will Smith's job? He was like the head of the health general, something like that.
Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are all things we could learn from the movie, not what's on the news. Like they've been showing us, a lot of these conscious people and directors, certain movies are made for certain reasons, for people who could grasp onto the jewels and use it for self.
Yeah, see,
and the only thing you could do is try to pass it on to your family or like that. But you know how it is. A lot of older generation, they so fixated and strong on those old ways.
Mm-hmm.
The major question for me is this. The major question, you hear me? The major question for me is this, right? We know,
right,
prior to the pandemic, we knew that this virus, right, that started off in China, that it was affecting a certain class of people, right? Mm-hmm. That is people who have pre-existing conditions, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, and those that were 80 and older, right? And in the pandemic, these have been the people that have been adversely affected. It has affected people of color because in this country, we have been ostracized to develop these conditions, right? These disparities have existed. But anyway, if you know that, then why would you not take this vaccine and target it to the people that mostly are affected? Why are you trying to get healthy people that would normally just get the virus and go through the conditions and live healthily again? Why would you have to force them to take the vaccine? As long as you got the people that are most likely to die vaccinated, then it shouldn't be an issue with other people having to be vaccinated.
Right.
Exactly. It's like introducing something foreign to your immune system, where we have more bacteria in our body than any viruses that's out here in the world. We have more. We are born with bacteria in our body. We have tons of bacteria in our body to counteract anything that's out here that's man-made. But if you inject it into you, that's what they want to do. Internally destroy you from the inside out.
Mm.
They don't grasp on that concept. So they're like you running out of fear to go inject something you know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
And you breaking down your immune system when naturally everything you could get is from the earth.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I thank you for that. I thank you for that, my bro.
Diet, change your mind state, work out. Like I said, I've been watching you, Joe. Like I said, Joe, we grew up together and things like that, man. You always been a knowledgeable brother, and I always appreciate your brain for who you are, despite what you went through and everything like that. But the fact that you came home and doing great, you got a beautiful queen, and
Thank you.
that excites me to see that, man. You know, I see it, and you look like I said, I can reach out and touch you because I know you. Like we grew up together. We from the same town. So.
We rode bus 94 together. You heard? You heard me, bro? We rode bus 90. Yo, me and Naeem was talking about bus 94 the other day. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. Yo, thank you for calling in, man. I really appreciate you, man. It's great to hear people from my past calling in, man. I definitely love the words that you said.
Man.
Huh?
Much love, peace. I said your brother's wide awake, man. Ain't no sheet, no closing over my eyes. I'm wide awake, man.
That's what's up. Love you too, bro. Peace.
Oh, that's so dope.
So
Flashback.
We had another caller. We had another caller call in. I'm gonna try to call them back.
Okay, so while you doing that, one morning I think I woke up and I was like, what's the name of that? And I couldn't remember the name of the doggone movie. I thought it was Independence Day. And when I'm speaking to the God I be about the movie, I'm thinking in my head, that's when he said I Am Legend. So when we put on I Am Legend, I never saw the beginning. And the beginning was the main source of the whole movie. I don't know why in the world I never watched the beginning. Maybe I didn't catch it on time. And I watched that movie a few times, but I never saw the beginning. Anybody who is listening, go to that movie, I Am Legend, and watch the very beginning of the movie. And that will help you see that something ain't right. That's all I'm going to say. Something is not right.
Something ain't right. Something
right.
going on. This thing. Hello? Peace. Peace, you called in?
Hello?
Peace, yes. You called in?
What did you say?
Did you call in the Speak Your Mind podcast with the Allis?
Yes, I did.
Peace, who's this?
I can barely hear you, though.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
You, man. I hear you. I mean, I know you hear me, but I can barely hear you.
Okay, what's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Aziz. I'm calling from Harlem, New York. How are you doing?
Hey, brother Aziz. How you doing?
That's who I is. Man, peace to the beast, man. How you feeling, beloved?
Everything is good, man. You know, we just trying to get the word out there.
Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you and your wife, man. Y'all doing a phenomenal job, man. You know, phenomenal, man. I'm so proud of you guys, man.
Thank you.
I don't know if the queen can hear me, but please let her know that, you know, I'm very proud, man, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, my
so much.
Yeah, she hears you loud and clear, too.
Hey, Johnny, what's up?
Hey, brother Aziz. Thank you so much.
Now, I got Cordell. She's out the car now doing what she do. But we running around telling us with Cordell, and I wanted to just call in and let the people know, man, that the people's choice is in the streets, man. Happy Easter to my Christian brothers and sisters who celebrate. Happy belated Passover for my Jewish brothers and sisters who celebrate. And of course, peace to my brother and his wife there. And I just want to say, man, that this is an opportunity for us to make a change here in Harlem. If we have to just get out and recognize that we need to start being sick and tired of being sick and tired and make it.
That's
and
right.
do something about it.
That's right.
And we believe that we have someone who can do that. I been knowing Cordell for some time now, and one of the reasons that I'm so attracted to her as an individual is because she possesses moral conviction. She stands on principles and morals. She has values that I don't see out here in this wild field that's being ran right now.
Right.
So I just want to say to the folks out there who listen, your thousands and thousands of listeners out there in listening land, that the right choice is the clear choice, and vote Cordell
Love it.
Council 2021.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. If you couldn't hear what
That's all.
he said make sure you vote for Cordell Clear for City Council 2021. As somebody called in earlier, early voting is June 18th, and the primary is June 22nd.
Actually, election date. That's election day, June 22nd.
Okay. The election day is June 22nd. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's June 22nd.
Thanks,
Okay.
bro.
When
Thanks.
when I get a chance, as soon as she get in the car, I'm going to call Mac in and have her speak live to you guys. Okay?
That's dope.
All right. Thank
We
you.
actually want to have her on the show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're gonna have her on the show. How about that?
We over here on Lennox Avenue at the fish market right now. You know, 133rd, 134th in LA. You know,
Oh, okay.
some of that good old fish right there.
Facts.
That's right.
That's right. So listen, Brother Aziz.
Exactly about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay?
Brother
All right.
Aziz, we would like to have Cordell on the show. So let her know that I'm gonna reach out to her.
I've been told you, sis, anytime that I can assist you, sis, any panels you want me to speak on, dealing with the DV and everything and the violence that's going on here with our youth, I'm available for y'all, man. Anything that's positive that we can possibly make a change and pay it forward. And the brother knows guys like us, where we come from, man, we got to pay it forward. And
That's
so,
right.
I'm there, man. I'm there.
Okay.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
All right, my brother. We speak to you in a minute.
All right, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you something, man, that I know you know oh so well, man. You know what I mean? The absence of confusion is peace, and I'm going to leave you with that.
Actual fact.
Ooh,
Actual
peace.
fact. Peace.
Yeah. All right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
We got people calling in from different directions.
We have one more. Don't we have one more article to speak about today? This article right here.
Freedom of speech. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. I want that one. I want to speak on that because it's you know, it should be okay that it should be fine that we speak our minds. You know, at the end of the day, we have concerns, we have issues, we have things to talk about. Stop closing us in. You know, the comedians can't even be funny anymore because somebody is reporting that they said this or they said that. So they censor them, they shut them down, they won't allow them to be funny anymore. I mean, what is going on in the world today?
Right. So this article right here is from The Hill, right? And this article, the headline is 12 prominent people opposed to vaccines are responsible for 2/3 of anti-vaccine content online in the report. Okay, so I just want to give the disclaimer that we are not anti-vaccine, right? We are just pro information. So
Right.
we want to bring all information to the table so that people can make an informed choice at all times when it comes to your health. So, according to this story, misinformation about COVID-19 and the vaccine is threatening public health efforts to inoculate Americans against the virus. A new report from the Center of Countering Digital Hate and Anti-Vax Watch found that most of the anti-vaccine content circulating online can be tied to 12 people. The list includes prominent people who oppose vaccines, such as Robert Kennedy Jr., whose Instagram account was permanently removed earlier this year. They've been dubbed the Disinformation Dozen. 12 individuals or organizations are tied to 65% of anti-vaccine content circulating on major social media networking sites, according to analysis of popular anti-vaccine content on Facebook and Twitter. Disinformation has become a direct threat to public health, says Imran Ahmed, CEO of the Center of Countering Digital Hate, which released the report in a partnership with the Anti-Vax Watch. in a release. In the midst of the global pandemic, the anti-vaccine industry has executed a targeted campaign to mislead Americans about the safety of the COVID-19 vaccines. Social media is enabling anti-vaxxers to recruit millions of Americans and indoctrinate them with fear and doubt. If big tech companies don't act now, the pandemic will be prolonged and more lives will be lost. The report
Wow.
accuses Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was banned from Instagram last month, Joseph McCullough, Ty and Charlene Bollinger, whose Twitter accounts were briefly suspended at the beginning of the pandemic, Sherry Timpenny, Riza Islam, Rashid Butter, Erin Elizabeth, Sayer Jai, Kelly Brogan, and Christiane Northrup, Ben Tapper, and Kevin Jenkins of spreading disinformation and claims that their social media accounts have repeatedly violated Facebook and Twitter's terms of service agreements. And the CCDH has receipts. The report is full of screenshots of example violations that range from misleading to anti-Semitic.
Wow.
Wow.
So anyone basically that is against or just want to, not even against, just want to give their input on this vaccine that people should be able to ask questions about. Because remind you, when you go to the hospital, if you don't know because you didn't do the research, you don't know what questions to ask your doctor.
Right.
So, most of us would say, is this vaccine good for me to take? And the first thing your doctors want to say is, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They're not going to say, well, you should, because they might lose their license. So, with that being said, anyone who have a nice amount of followers, they do not want you to speak against it or open up the minds of the people of certain questions that you should be able to ask your primary doctors. And that's messed up. They shut them down.
Right. So freedom of speech is part of the First Amendment, right? So let me show this real quick. Freedom of speech is very important to a democracy because without freedom of speech, then it leaves us in tyranny, right? Okay, so let me show this real quick. Can you see this?
Yes.
First Amendment, freedom of speech. The First Amendment's freedom of speech clause affords a special protection to certain places traditionally open for speech activities, such as sidewalks and public ways, placing a heavy burden on any government attempt to restrict speech in what the court has identified as traditional public fora. But even in a public forum, the government may impose reasonable restrictions on the time, place, and manner of protected speech, so-called time, place, manner restrictions, provided those restrictions are justified without reference to the content of the regulated speech, that they are narrowly tailored to serve as significant government interests, and that they leave open ample alternative channels for communication of information. So basically, right there, they putting in the
language.
You might have freedom of speech, but in certain circumstances, we can restrict your speech and say, listen, you can't say that. Like for instance, they'll say, you cannot yell out fire in a crowded movie theater. Right? You can't do that because if you yell fire in a crowded movie theater, then people start to panic. They start to run for the door. Somebody might get trampled. Somebody might have a heart attack. All of these different things may happen, right? So you can't go out there and just randomly spread out disinformation that is going to cause somebody else harm. But this right here, when it comes to the people in the anti-vax movement, which I don't even agree with a lot of the things they say, some of the information is not right and exact. However, if there's no pro and con to the argument, then how do you get the full picture? You can't get the full picture and make an informed decision if you only have one side of the argument.
One side, right.
And that's the worst part about this situation. They're taking all of these people off of social media who have a differing opinion.
Right.
And that's tyranny. We got a caller.
Call from
Aziz.
Peace, caller. State your name and where you calling from.
Peace and blessings. Peace.
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 Yeah, I got the future city council here, online, and so once again, here's Miss Cordell Clear.
Peace, Queen.
Peace.
Good afternoon and happy Easter to you.
Happy
Same
Easter.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What's happening today?
Oh, we just talking about freedom of speech right now.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause, when it comes to freedom of speech, we feel that if you limit certain people's speech, then how can we get the full picture of whatever the subject is?
Right. I totally agree. I think, communication is key. And this is what I do almost all day just now, speaking to people. And, people want to ask things and they're shy and they're, well, I don't mean anything, but I said, come with it. Ask it. Say it. And then we can go backwards. We just know that it's a conversation. So protecting our speech is important. Being able to call people out when they're wrong is important.
Absolutely.
Being able to say something is unjust. Being able to say something is unjust is important. To debate things is important.
Absolutely.
As long as we're civil and we're respectful of each other, but I have a right to say what's on my mind.
Right.
That's right.
I totally agree with you on that.
So
listen, I'm going to say this. I have watched Sister Cordell debate. I followed her. This was like a couple of years ago. Every place where I saw that she was debating, I was there because listen, she was debating against all men. I think there was like one or two other women, but I was like, "Whoo!" She inspired me to the fullest.
Yeah, that's a fact. As a matter of fact, I remember when we first got together, like less than a month after I had known you, I went to one of your events, and you actually honored Sister Cordell Claire
Yes,
at
I
your
did.
event, the purple round at the purple table.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
the purple, what was it? The purple event.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. And I do remember that. And I thank you so much. And I
You're
felt
welcome.
empowered by the great women who were being honored with me and who were in that room because thanks to them that they have the speech, their speech uplifts other people.
That's right.
It's powerful. What you do, Shanice, bringing the issue that you're bringing to the forefront, we need to speak about it. The more we speak about things, the more we can address them and we can heal.
That's right.
It's all about, the speech. If we stay silent, we're never going to get anywhere.
That's
And
right.
especially, I repeat it, when it comes to injustice and abuses, sometimes people are shamed and it's hidden, and you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed. You're censored. Don't talk about that. Don't bring that up. It's important that we do. It's important that we do because that's the only way we're going to get healing. That's the only
That's
way we're
right.
going to stop it.
It's
So
true.
we're both part of the Michelle Obama Democratic Club, which you are the main person of the club, right? You run the club?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I am
Right.
founder and I am the district leader in the area. And yes, I founded the Michelle Obama Community Democratic Club because, and I named it after Michelle because, history needs to reflect the powerful women of
That's
history.
right.
And she was our first African American first lady, and she was a real first lady.
That's right.
The best. Behind our president, very much a part of his team, a very intelligent woman.
Yes.
Extremely great character. In fact, I met her after meeting her husband. It was only after I met her that I truly decided for sure I'm going to support him. So she was the deciding factor. I said, oh, no, he got to be the real deal with a wife like this. So, I admire her brilliance. She's inspiring. She's an inspiration. She looks like me.
That's right.
Just like me.
So we got some questions for you though. As far we know that you're running for city council. Like some people who live outside of New York City, and some people that live within New York City may not understand the function of what
City
exactly
council.
city council is.
Hmm.
So you just give us a brief explanation of what city council is and what's the reason why you want to run for city council.
Yes, put very simply, our government is broken into three divisions. We have our local city government, we have our state government, we have our federal government. City government, which is, the five boroughs, is run by 51 members of the council and the mayor. Each of those 51 members represent 51 different districts, 51 neighborhoods of New York, if you will, just to put it simply. And it's important for me, the district I live in, District 9, I want to represent us on the 9th district because I'm at the table. I get an opportunity to be at the table to fight for the resources that we need. One of the most important functions of a city councilman is the budget. We have to make sure that we get our piece of the budget that comes into this city. And that the city council allows me to be able to do that, to fight for what we need. And also, we legislate. We create laws, local laws, city laws, uh, and we amend laws. So that's important. We need somebody sitting at the table to do that. Uh, and then we also do services to our constituents that need our help and our assistance getting through. Sometimes city agencies don't work like they're supposed to, or they
Right.
don't work for everybody. And sometimes you need somebody to help you get through some of that bureaucracy and make it work the way it's supposed to work. Make sure that you can get to where you're supposed to get to, and that people are paying attention to what they're supposed to pay attention to. So those are the three major functions of the city council, and why I want the job. I think I explained it a little bit, but my particularly right now, especially since the pandemic, but not just the pandemic. I hear a lot of people saying, we want to get in there because the pandemic and we want to bring us back up. Well, we were suffering before the pandemic.
That's right.
It was a pandemic before this pandemic.
Right.
We had a housing pandemic. We had
Hmm.
a health pandemic. And these things are not, these are not new things. And we have to get to the heart of it. We got to get to the root of it. And we have to attack and address those problems. I'm not just dealing with COVID-19, which was a tragic and terrible turn of events for us, but they also highlighted, along with other events that occurred during the pandemic, like the murder of George Floyd, it also highlighted the the disparities and injustice and inequities that always existed. They didn't just happen; they always existed. But these
Right.
helped us see more clear, help some people see more clearly, and highlighted and emphasized them even greater. So now that everybody's aware,
Hmm.
great. Now we have to do something about it. And
Amen
that's
to that.
why I want to be in the city council because something needs to be done about it. There needs to be deliberate, immediate, and serious action taken. And you need somebody who's ready to demand that, fight for that, work with my colleagues, and of course we serve everybody. We
Right.
serve the whole city and our whole district. But there have been some things that need to be done on behalf of our communities because we've been left out for so long, and because we're being displaced, and because we're being incarcerated, and because we're dying from every health ailment you could think of.
Right.
So for this reason, I do want a seat at the table, and I don't want to rebuild to the norm, to the normal. I don't want things to be normal because normal didn't work for us.
Right.
I want us to rebuild in a way that does work for everybody, level the playing field.
So you are Queen Nazinga. You want a seat at the table, and if you don't have a seat, you gonna bring a crate.
That's right.
You gonna bring whatever it take, for you to sit at that table,
Yeah,
huh?
sometimes I'll sit on a box. We had
Right.
to do that sometimes growing up. We had to do that sometimes.
Hmm.
Okay, we had extra people over at the house, and
Right.
we had something for people to sit on.
Right.
Problem. That's not new to me. Good for that.
Yeah, I salute that. I definitely. But that's a very powerful story of a very powerful queen in our past from Angola. And I could definitely see the different parallels and stuff that you're doing out here. And I'm happy that you said that a lot of these disparities existed way before COVID, because, I
Mhm.
recently did a lot of research on COVID. And one of the things that came up in my research is that it, you will live 10 years less living in central Harlem compared to the Upper West Side, which is less than a mile
Come
away.
on.
And these type of
Come on.
disparities, they have to be addressed. This
Right.
tale of two cities, it
Absolutely.
has to be addressed, because
Hmm.
these are the
Yes.
things that are the grounds for a disease like COVID to come through and run rampant.
Right.
Exactly.
I remember my husband and I was taking videos of he was downtown and how the garbage was nice and picked up. The streets was clear, but then when you get up to Harlem, the garbage was overflowing. And when it's overflowing, what does it bring? It bring rats. It bring mice. It bring all these other disgusting little animals that and the
Yeah.
mats the mats was on the floor. You might have a child
Mhm.
that run ahead of you and pick up a mask and put it on their face. So
Mm.
him and I was doing a lot of video taping of showing the different disparities on just garbage, sanitation, how
Mhm.
they take care of the
Yes.
streets, how downtown is better.
Yes.
We also
Yes.
did videos in the supermarkets, how we go downtown the supermarket, the fresh fruits and stuff was nice and clear and good, but then when you come up here the next 2 days your fruits is no good.
Right.
So
Yes.
we did videos on that as well. So that was just showing different disparities on our neighborhood versus other class of people neighborhoods.
So you have anything
Well,
coming
that's
up?
very important. Yes. Well, I'm always registering people to vote. So
Mm-hmm.
Saturday I have a headquarters location, and I'm at 2272 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard every Saturday from 1 to 5. I'm
Okay.
there, and or I have a team there. If I'm not physically there myself, because I may be somewhere else, but we're registering. We're registering every day. Uh, 2272 is located between West 133rd Street and West 134th Street on the downtown side.
Yes.
We have a big sign up. Now, let me say this, mind you, my home base is 116th Street. Malcolm Shabazz Mosque, 102 West 116th Street. I have not left there because people still come in and they need help. Please feel free to drop in. There's someone there who will take a message and get it to me. This is my campaign headquarters that I have, because it's a large enough space that I can have volunteers and we can social distance and what have you. So I haven't left 116th Street. Don't listen to that rumor. I'm always
Right.
so
Thank
both
you.
places. I'm in both places, and every Saturday, by the way, at Malcolm Shabazz Masjid, where my office is located, every Saturday we have been giving out food for the whole year since COVID began, and we're still giving out groceries every Saturday. So if you know anyone who's in need or in lack, because sometimes people think the cupboards have to be bare. No, sometimes we just don't have enough.
Right.
Need a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, this is for you. Okay, and there's nothing for anybody to be embarrassed or ashamed about. Okay, everybody needs some help right in through
That's
here.
right.
Everybody needs some help.
That's
And
right.
you could, and if what you can't use, you know somebody that can use it. We get fresh produce, fresh vegetables, canned goods, dry goods. Every Saturday, Michelle Obama Community Democratic Club comes out, shows out, volunteers, distributes, packs, sorts, along with Malcolm Shabazz Masjid, who had the foresight, as they have had over the years, to come to the aid of the whole community. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be Muslim. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We're one community, and we're one people.
That's
And
right.
you'll see that demonstrated every Saturday. So if you know someone in need of groceries every Saturday, from we have to start earlier. Used to we started at 11 o'clock, so people started showing up at 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning
Wow.
in the cold, in this winter line going around the corner. So now
Wow.
we start earlier. We're there.
Okay.
We try to get it out at 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're up and running. So
Okay.
you come and bring your groceries because we don't give out. You can't carry this in your hand.
Right. You got to bring your grocery cart.
The little, yeah, your little, the little pulley thing with the rolly cart.
That's right.
You bring those and come get the stuff and get for everybody. If you know a senior, if you know somebody who can't get out, we have to continue to look out for people who are. We're not at a point where it's safe, and so we have to be mindful. There are people who are waiting to come out, who may need some help. So please continue to add. I call people all the time. Are you okay? You need something? I bring something by. The club members, they bring something by, and just look out for people because people need, and some people are afraid and haven't been out.
Right.
They don't want to get sick.
Right. Absolutely. So I would like to on one of our non-busy days on a Saturday, if we are able to come and film so that way we could show people on Sunday that this is what's going on in Harlem with your club. Is that good?
Me know anytime.
Okay, great.
Just let me know.
Okay, we'll do. Yes, got you. Thank you so much, Queen.
Yes,
We definitely will talk to you soon. I appreciate you and the brother for calling in today. I'm so glad my Harlemneers reaching out and giving they love and they support through our podcast.
Right. We love the fact that you 10 toes down.
Doing. Thank you for reaching. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thank you. You're the power couple.
Yes, thank you so much. We love you, Cordell.
We love you too. Take care.
All right. Queen.
Right.
Right.
Wow. That was great. So I want to definitely give another shout out to, if you don't mind, my baby sisters. They're not babies anymore, but I saw them when they was like a handful. So I want to once again say thank you to them being a part of great things that's going on up there in Pennsylvania. They are originally from out here, but they doing great stuff. They got my sister and I got the book signing coming up, book event coming up, and my other sister, the other twin, the baby twin, she got her own bracelets and waist beads. It's called Waist by V, and that's for any woman that's plus size, and is encouraging, helping you see that you're losing weight because the beads start falling off, so you're losing the weight. So thank you and shout out to them, all the family up there in Pennsylvania. Shout out to y'all as well.
Check it out. Look what we got.
Yes. So that is her, and those are different waist beads that she had put together. Actually, she's doing them all herself. She's doing great work. She got some orders last night, and they all encouraging because one, you're getting them from someone who understand the process of losing weight, and those are the bracelets. We had a great time last night. I did tag a few people, those who tagged and those who bought, and she just had different ways of getting a free gift. So I want to definitely give her a shout out. It's called Wasted by V, and that is her. That go down. Yeah, that's her with her waistbands on, her waist beads. Yeah, there you go. Wasted by V, and she is doing them by hand. So she found something that she definitely enjoyed doing and get her mind together, because during the pandemic, so many of us, we had to get an understanding of We need a second job, which is create one. Do your own thing. We understand a regular job is not going to make it because you might have it and you might not have it. Remind you, you might catch COVID at that job, but you always find different ways. Listen, Black people always hustling. We always gonna make a way out of no way. It's just that sometimes we get stuck because of the box, we stay stuck in that and not try to get out of the box and understand that we are very creative people. Whatever you choose to do, you can make it happen. I Am Phenomenal book came out through the pandemic. I did 100 PowerPoint for domestic violence. That came out of the pandemic. My husband did great work during the pandemic. He actually finished college and got his master's through the pandemic. So anything is possible. Anything can be done. It's just that you gotta find your wave and get out that box.
I agree. I agree. So I just want to show this ad real quick from the Queen. Her daughter is still missing. Um, so if anybody, matter of fact, I'm gonna show the video. Let me show the video.
It was very unfortunate
Yes, it is.
that her daughter's missing. I think she's 12 years old.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We can't hear the volume.
All around. Peace. I'm out here in the BX looking for my daughter near the Yankee Stadium, as you can see, all around, all the way from Fordham Road all the way to 161st Street, looking for my little princess, because the detectives told me that her phone is around this area, that they see dots around this area in the Bronx, showing my daughter's phone is in the Bronx. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Well, as you see, the search doesn't stop, you know? I don't know if my daughter has her phone or if somebody took her phone, but somebody's gonna have to answer for that shit. Okay? As you can see, I'm near the Yankee Stadium. This is crazy. But a mother will go to the furthest extent for her child.
Yeah, man. It's very unfortunate, and I'm really not understanding what happened to this young queen. Like, I really don't understand what happened. I used to always see the earth. She used to always be with her daughter. She was always coming to the parliaments or coming to the school, always had her daughter with her. And now it's been I think a month or two that her daughter has been missing. And it's like she's really not coming back. Like, what happened to this young girl? Like, we really need to know what happened to this young girl. Uh, and it's sad, especially for our community, um, to see this young queen that just disappeared like this. I'm gonna show a picture of her. Show a picture of her. If anybody sees the young queen, please make sure you contact Asia Gibson, or you could contact the Speak Your Mind podcast, and we'll get in contact with Asia Gibson on Facebook. Um, Please, anybody, if you see this young queen, reach out to us. Reach out to Asia Gibson We want to bring this young queen back to her mother. She's only 12 years old. She's been missing for, I think, a month and change now.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out.
Right.
Reach out. So, unfortunately, we had to end it on that note. But, we really want to see this young queen brought back. So with that,
Absolutely.
I say peace.
Peace.
Peace.